Hey guys, welcome back to Kemi Naturally, a channel to motivate and inspire. Today I'm going to talk about how to stand out for your first dev role, your first developer role. And this is coming from the panel discussion that I filmed and I posted a few days ago. So go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. This is just going to be expanding on that, how to stand out, because there were some things that other panelists had said, but I just wrote them down just because I didn't want to record them while they were talking, because I noticed that sometimes I was making them a little nervous by recording, or maybe I looked awkward being the only one recording. So I just wanted to not be I don't want to take the focus off of them and be the girl that recording everything. And so I just decided to write some of the things that they said, and then I could share them later. So let me go ahead down the list of all of the things that I learned from that discussion. And I will honestly keep uploading these because I do have a lot, but I can't ramble on for hours and hours about it. So look out for some more of those videos. So the first tip is to talk about the projects that you've made. If you are a dev graduate, a bootcamp graduate, you probably have a list of projects, or if you are someone that's self-taught, you probably have a list of projects. So talk about them, and talk about them in quantitative measures. Use numbers and percentages to kind of capture the recruiter's eye, especially on your resume. That's a tip that I've gotten when I describe my projects, that I need to use more numbers and talk about how my project made an impact. Also, another tip is to look for technologies that differentiate yourself but are also your passion. Notice that when you are in a boot camp, everyone makes the same project, except for probably your capstone. That's when you're different. But everyone makes like for my boot camp, we all made like a website called Grace Shopper, which was just an e-commerce site, but everybody else, made the same thing. So to have that on my resume, yes, it's great to have it, but what if the recruiter sees another resume with the same thing? So if you have projects from your boot camp or from wherever you were taught, make sure you add projects that you're passionate about. Like for example, 3.js. Say you're a visual person, you like design, 3.js might be a good tool for you to use. If you like 3D animation, you can talk about that. And because you're passionate about 3D animation, you are more susceptible to show the recruiter or whoever is the hiring manager, like, hey, I have these skills. You can just talk on and on about it. And you can talk about the way you used it, the issues that you came across, and how you solved those issues. And you're just more passionate as opposed to like, hey, I made this e-commerce site because my instructor told me to make one. It was not my choice. So that's another tip to use. Another tip is through obviously connections. That's one way to stand out. I say, as someone who has been doing this job search for a while, applying to jobs online is not enough. You are competing with hundreds of people who have also applied, who have probably better resumes, probably better cover letters than you have, and that's just a fact. Yes, you are amazing in your own right, but that doesn't mean that just by your cover letter and your resume alone, you showcase that you are capable of the job. So basically, try to get connections. Reach out to people who can vouch for you. Recent bootcamp grads, contact them, ask them for coffee or ask them for advice. Don't go right ahead and be like, hey, I need a job, but just kind of form a relationship with them. Ask them questions. A lot of, especially senior level engineers, like they've been doing this for so long, they love giving advice. Like I've talked to engineers who are more experienced than me, and they just love giving me advice and love helping. Like they don't mind you having questions. It could be about questions about your code. It could be about the company. It could be about the job search. It could be about anything, but go right ahead and make those relationships, because eventually you can be comfortable enough to ask them, hey, I saw this job opening, and I was wondering if you could refer me, and they'd be glad to, because they know you, they know your face, and they know what you're capable of at that moment, instead of like just going right about it, because they don't really know who you are, and it's kind of risky to vouch for someone they don't know. So definitely that was one of the most important things that I have learned, and I was happy that one of the panelists, actually a lot of them, were agreeing that yes, connections are really important to stand out, because they're the ones that know the hiring manager. Out of all the stack of resumes, yours could be pointed out just because you know someone in that company. Another thing was to work for free, and this might be a little controversial, because if you have a skill set and you have the knowledge, you don't want to give that skill set, especially such a skill that is such high demand, you don't want to give that out for free. And you don't want to kind of ruin it for the other developers who are looking out, who are also graduating or who are looking for jobs, and now the pay is getting lower and lower because certain people are just accepting lower and lower pay, because your skills are very valuable and it takes a lot of dedication and time to actually master those skills. However, this was one tip, and I do understand it and the standpoint. I don't know if you guys checked my video, but one of the panelists did go in a little further on what she meant about this. But basically, working for free, work on volunteering projects, things that can not only just showcase your skills or send out your services to people, but also can help you build your skills in a better way. Whenever you do projects, I feel like you get better at coding, because there's different issues I run into, different bugs, and different things that I come and gain from it. And honestly, a lot of us are used to working on projects for free, so might as well have it on your resume that, hey, I did this project for an actual employer or an actual company. And you never know, that employer or company might want to hire you later on and be like, hey, I really liked how you did that, and how you were able to accomplish that in a certain amount of time, and all these things, and I would like to have you on my team. But like I said, it's kind of hard to come from that. It's usually good for when you're in a company already, and maybe you're in a different field or a different sector, and maybe you want to like branch into another sector, so you start working for free. I don't know if that's even allowed, but you start working for free, or you start volunteering for projects just so you can learn, and then that whoever's in that team takes notice of your skills and your knowledge, and then wants to hire you. I think another thing is also just working your way up. One of these panelists talked about support engineers and how they move up from being support engineers to engineer positions. Like what's the next step? Is it junior dev or maybe mid-level dev? I don't know. You can move up from being a support engineer, and I've also heard of other companies do that too. So don't be afraid of taking roles that are free or lower paid, or even doing hackathons. Just think of the skills that you're going to learn, and think of the knowledge that you can have to impress recruiters. And I've had my share of working for maybe not for free, but like maybe giving consulting advice for free, and hopefully something comes out of it. I don't know, but at least I have that experience. I think and this is the last thing, is to focus on jobs that have your skills. So what one of the panelists were saying, to focus on, in boot camps we have skills, like every boot camp's different. I know boot camps differentiate when it comes to the technology stack that they use. A lot of the boot camps use JavaScript or React, some use Ruby on Rails. It all differs. You don't want to apply to a job that has a whole bunch of skills that you don't know, like for example Python or Django. Those are great to learn, but if you went to boot camp, you're already pretty experienced in the levels of the stack that you were learning in. So you already are more familiar with them. So try to stick with that when you're applying for jobs. Don't go out of your scope too much. And it's not to say that if you see maybe one or two things on the job description that don't match your skills, to not apply, but don't apply to jobs that have a bunch of skills that are just nothing on your resume. All right, guys, so that was all the tips that I got for how to stand out for your first dev role. For more videos like this, please give this a thumbs up and subscribe below. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.